Hey guys, welcome to the Natural Course. Today we're going to take to the skies and do a little bit of paragliding. Let's get into it. I'm with Phil from Airology. And Phil, what can we expect from the course today?
You're going to have a pretty busy 9 days. The course starts with you guys getting used to the basic dynamics of the aerofoil and the very paraglider that you're about to entrust your life to. And we're going to take step by step, slowly learning how to bring the paraglider up on the ground, ease that into low slopes where we do some little baby flights, learning to launch and land, which is the most important parts of the flight. We'll then progress to doing a tandem flight where you have an experienced pilot taking you. You actually get to get your hands on the controls, fly through the air and go through the basic flight path and pattern for landing. It's usually ends with someone having a big smile on their face. After that, we go into first high flights. Very nervous. Up until that point, things have moved very quickly. We generally do a course over 9 days. Every day, as soon as you are starting to get basic proficiency, we layer on another level, another skill.
Always learning.
So we're just packing it in. Safely, but packing it in. First high flight, the takeoff is exciting, exhilarating, and then they have all the space and time in the world. I often say to the students once they've taken off, take a moment, breathe, scrunch up all the muscles, relax and enjoy the view. You're flying. And they've got 5-6 minutes on their first flight before they end up down here doing the landing phase.
Before the course, yeah, just a bit nervous that I wasn't going to get the hang of it. Yeah, great. It was so much fun. I was not confident at the top at all, but yeah, it was heaps of fun. I just listened to what they told us to do, and all the guys on the course that I'm doing it with are just, yeah, so encouraging.
All right, Phil, so what do we need to know about the world around us and wind flow and objects and all those sorts of things? I imagine there's a lot to know, but some kind of general ground rules or things that we'll be covering over the next few days. What do we need to know to get the most out of this and also to stay the safest?
Sure. We do our very best to pick the best weather to do the flying. Paragliders are a wonderful aircraft in that they're very small, they're compact, it fits into your back, but they're quite limited in the range of wind that they can fly in. We don't have a motor, so unlike a small Cessna or a big jet plane, we can't just put more power on to stay in the air. So we rely on the wind currents and thermals, which is the ground heating up, releasing bubbles or columns of air for us to be able to go up. So we're constantly looking at the world around us, seeing if there's any clouds forming, making sure that the wind is a suitable speed for us. Inland, we tend to fly in quite light winds so that the thermals form nicely and we can ride those thermals all the way up to 2,000-3,000 meters.
You also talk about, I heard you mention before, relatively safe sport, but we're a bit of an idiot hanging from a piece of string.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Modern paragliders have a lot of passive safety built into them. When we're learning the sport, we're on what we call an A-wing. It's gone through a lot of testing internationally to make sure it's safe, and in various conditions, it's very forgiving. If something does happen to that wing, it's very quick on recovery and it won't change direction much. It won't fall out of the sky if we keep doing a wrong thing. we have to keep majorly trying to make the glider do something very bad for the glider to finally say, okay, if this is what you want.
All right, so we've got our first flight coming up, done a bit of ground handling. Once we finish that, what can we expect from our first flight? Like, what's the normal common reaction from people? What's the general feelings that most people experience?
I'm feeling pretty proud actually. And also probably the confidence level has probably gone up about 70%. There's a whole heap of things answered in that first flight that questions we had to trust what we were told would happen, and it all happens that way. So I suppose I'm much more confident now.
Nice. Very nice.
All right, last question for you, Phil. What brings most people to paragliding from your experience so far, and what makes them stay? What's that thing that makes a lot of people addicted to the sport?
Sure.
Yeah.
Most of us have had flying dreams at some point or other. Occasionally you find people that are trying to overcome a fear of heights or of flying. They find that this is a really good way to achieve that. But more often than not, people have always dreamt of some form of flight. Maybe powered flight is not accessible. It could just be that they've seen paragliders in the air, somewhere like Bright or on the coast. Often people will see paragliders in the air and wonder, how does that work? They'll ask us what we did. They'll quite often approach us on the beach. Taking that one step further and making the leap into signing up for a course sometimes can be quite daunting.
Yeah, I bet.
Often you'll find someone reaches out and just does a tandem flight first. All of the schools pretty much offer tandems where you can try before you buy.
Yeah.
When they come down with a big smile on their face going, how can I do this more? That's where we come in.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Brilliant. Cool.